patreon.com/Taylor Durden. Should be a very interesting one. I'll have Itzel in here with me. And not even really go over the news unless she really wants to. I don't know. Just waiting for her to join and then we'll get into the show. OG Talk. Project Calls. Yeah, man, it was going, Juicy Nest, man. Again, I was gonna respond to what you was gonna say, but I was gonna respond to your message, but Itzel just came up on some time, and I wanted to get this done. You know, I've been wanting to have Itzel back on, and then we was talking last night. It's always nice to have Itzel because, for one, I think she's fucking hilarious. And then for two, she stays objective and judgmental. I like an objective, judgmental motherfucker. You know what I mean? We got requested again, Itzel. It just smoked me. I invited you now. You know, okay, there we go. Yo, what's up, my objective, judgmental motherfucker?
Hi. Hi, everybody.
I can't hear you that well, though.
You can't hear me?
I hear you good now.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah. So, yo, you want to just go in? What's up? Would you do you want to talk about what we was talking about last night? You want to just go right in?
Yeah, so tell me what you thought was valuable about our conversation last night and why you wanted to share that right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's pertinent for. It's not like it's just right now in general. I think it's just. I think it's like it's forever. I think it should be shared forever. I don't think it's not like a right now thing. I mean, I guess the basis of it, I was like, yo, I don't need you to know me. I just need you to know you. Like I feel like because I feel like so many times in relationships it feel like a probation officer, and I would just kind of I guess sometimes want that. Like I want somebody to just keep up with like somebody that just is interested in knowing like my fucking itinerary. I guess I don't know like, but it would be nice if somebody didn't really give a fuck about what I did from outside of the moment that we're in right now. You know what I mean? That's what I was saying. I was like, yo, if it happened outside of this moment that we in, like that's everything that isn't us. This is us, and this is what we are common ground that we have. We can expand on this moment, and create new moments or extend this moment, whatever. But like, you shouldn't even give a fuck about anything outside of what we're experiencing in this individual moment right now. You know what I mean? And I feel like when someone, if they know themselves, like they know that we're in the same like proximity of attraction. Like so we're like contemporaries. We have the same attachments that made us even attractive to each other in whatever regard that we are attracted to each other. And that being so, like if you know yourself, then it don't really matter what I do, where I've been, none of that shit. It's more so like you are operating off your own navigation system. And like you don't need to ask what I'm doing or where I'm headed or like what I'm feeling or nothing like that. Like you should just be going off your own volition, and then life just adjusts to what your will is accordingly. Like I was saying, like if a chick just don't want to show up tomorrow and she just moved on, that's so much better than like I was saying, like the separation notes and all of this shit, and the back and forth for trying to break up and everything. I feel like if it's just like, look, you just go on your way. You don't owe me no explanation. I don't really owe you no explanation for the things I do. We're adults. We making adult decisions, and if we, if we know each other, why the fuck? Why do you have to ask? Like you're attracted to me for whatever reason, like whether it's unbeknownst to you or what have you. Like you should know like yourself. You don't really need to know anything about me in a lot of respects, because you wouldn't be attracted to me. Like your relationship and how much you know yourself is determining how you're even able to be attracted to me. So like, why do you even give a fuck about anything kind of other than like maintaining your own sanity? And then if I'm no longer part of that, then you just move on and don't. And why would don't ask, no questions. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that it's very relevant and it could be taken the wrong way um, by a lot of women, especially, and maybe insecure men, because it's kind of just like the norm to kind of like question the person that you're with and constantly need like validation. I think it's kind of seen as normal, and I could understand why. But I think that that's all coming from a place of fear and a place of lack and a place of uncertainty. And at the same time, you can't, it's really not that simple because you have to take into consideration that, you know, women are looking for biologically, you know, they're looking for certainty and safety. So it's like to ask a woman to like not like kind of ask you what you're doing or how do you feel and stuff like that is a big ask when you consider like the biological needs of a woman. But at the same time, like she has to know that about herself while also knowing that she can't constantly need validation because it also like disrupts her peace and her well-being. And if she's in this like constant place of like inquisition, there's no way that she could be in the present moment. And there's no way that she could be like tuned into trust and to certainty in herself and into her innate creativity and just her natural beingness, because you can't be both at the same time. You know, so to say that like a woman wouldn't slip up and maybe sometimes like need that validation, I think that's just unrealistic because that's like taking the human out of the person. But I think it's like a lifelong becoming. You know, I think would be the best way to say it. Um, and it's very hard because just like the level of evolution is just not there. So either it's normalized and people are in toxic relationships where they think it's normal and they're not happy because they don't trust each other. And usually also too, it's like you have to pick right, because if you're constantly feeling like you need to ask a man what he's doing and how he feels and you need that constant validation, and then you find that he is cheating on you or he has lied to you, and then so now your trust has been broken, so now your nervous system is destroyed and you're going to need it more, you know. And then yeah, of course that's a different story. You can't put yourself in that situation and expect yourself to not like be constantly looking for this validation, right? You also have to know when it's better to be alone, because that's kind of like fighting against reality.
Yeah, yeah.
If
I
you're
mean,
with some, if you're with someone who's a, if you're with someone who's a liar, if you're with someone that is a liar, but that's a different. So it's complex because if you're with someone that's healthy and not a liar, and they haven't given you a reason to distrust them, then you shouldn't be constantly having to question them. You know, I think that sometimes if you feel that urge as a woman to constantly be questioning somebody, you have to kind of ask yourself why you're feeling this way all the time. And instead of questioning that person, ask yourself, why don't you feel safe? And why are you looking for your safety in somebody else?
yeah. I mean, that's the thing I'm saying though. Like, well, as far as liars is concerned, either they're reflecting the way you lie to yourself, or they're just reflecting how you doubt yourself, how you don't trust yourself. Like, if you know yourself, I feel like you don't really need somebody to validate your your awareness. You know what I mean? I feel like if you're, you know, just observing reality and a person is giving you a, you know, a lie, or they're giving you whatever that, you know, omissions, then I think that you don't really need them to validate it. Like, you're like, look, I mean, I know myself. I don't, I don't, it doesn't really matter what you have to say in a lot of ways. Like, we're just kind of going through this for like confirmation of what I already know. or something. Like, I feel like if you know someone's a liar or they lied to you, they're just, you know, the person obviously doubts themselves. They feel like the truth isn't giving them, they doubt that being truthful will get them the life that they want to have. So they have a doubt there, and either you lie to yourself, or their doubt is with, you know, you y'all are reflecting each other's doubt. So I think whenever you get in a situation with someone or a relationship, whatever, you shouldn't need them, their story, none of that shit, all that shit is kind of irrelevant to what you're gathering and experiencing from, you know, from the observable reality. And I feel like the more you need to feel safe, no matter, I don't know, you think it's like more feminine or woman like exclusive? You think it's exclusive to women? Like that,
Not completely
that they,
exclusive, not completely exclusive, but more so of a female biology.
you think it's just femininity in general? Because like I remember like at different times being like insecure and like wanting to know where a bitch at. You know what I mean? Like when I was just young and like hadn't, well, I had a lot of fucks to give, and I wasn't allocating my fucks correctly. You know, so
Yeah.
you know, I was just I'm worried about what someone else is doing and thinking, and what might happen when I
Yeah,
shouldn't even be
I
concerned.
remember feeling that way too. It was the worst and it was all consuming. And I could understand like being that way when you're younger and probably from not having guidance, but someone who was raised right as from a child from their formative years probably wouldn't have so much of that experience if they were raised by someone that actually really learned and embodied that. But to answer your question, yeah, I do think it's more so feminine. I do think it's also like emotional and psychological immaturity. And I also think that men and women both have male and feminine aspects. So yeah, if you're with a man that's doing this and he's very insecure, even as an adult, and he's controlling, then that means that he's very much in his feminine energy more so, more embodying those feminine qualities, and that he also has emotional and psychological immaturity. So that's what I mean. It's like you also kind of have to know when to choose, when to stay away, when you're just putting yourself in a mess for no reason. Like I feel like sometimes people just get addicted to chaos, you know, and they just think it's normal, and then they just like solving problems, so they focus on the wrong problems, and then their relationship is now it's a problem to solve, and that's really not the point of relationships, you know. But like you said, it's always mirroring something to you. It's always a mirror. Like I know when I chose to be with someone who was a liar and a cheater, I knew from the beginning that they were a liar and cheater, and I basically still chose to stick around. And and then and like I fought like, you're not gonna fucking lie to me. You're gonna text this person right now and tell them that you want to be with me, and tell them right now, send the text right now. And then yeah, and then years later when I got cheated on again, it was like I was like, well, fuck this. I'm not gonna fucking let anybody take you from me. This bitch wants to take you from me. Okay, well, we'll see about that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I mean,
Like
it's like,
over my dead body, bitch.
how much of your safety do you provide yourself? I feel like if you feel safe, like you provide enough safety within yourself, like you have enough control over that, over regulating that, I feel like then what other people do doesn't really threaten your safety. No matter what they do, you're like, whatever, you know what I mean? And I think, yeah, like sometimes, yeah, I guess you just got to go through it. I don't know if a lot of us just wasn't raised right, you know, obviously, but I feel like if if I had examples of that, if I had just examples of people being like, yo, whatever, yo, you can walk if you want to walk, you know, like that. If I had that around, I feel like people let shit linger, and then it just gets worse and worse and worse, and then I think, and then people end up having kids and stuff, and it just makes it even worse. I don't I don't know, man. I think it's just like for being able to provide your own safety seems like it kind of makes whatever they do null and void in a sense. It's like I enjoy what we have or this moment that we in, And outside of that, that shit is might as well not exist to me in a lot of respects. Like, it's not my business ultimately. Like, I don't know. I don't know if it's like I'm just too callous though. At the same time, like, is this
Yes,
just?
you're callous. You're callous. Yes, you're callous, and everyone is not like you, and it's going to be on a case by case basis, right? So it's like, yeah, in your situation, that's how you feel. So that's what you want. You don't want to be disrupted by the questioning. So for you to expect for everybody that you engage with to understand that, it's not realistic. And then also, like you said, if you know what safety feels like for you and you can create that emotional safety and you kind of have by that emotional safety on a daily basis, and then all of a sudden you're with someone and you feel that emotional safety, like, uh, leaving, and it's kind of like, like, oh, what just happened, and either you're going to make it like that person's problem, like your problem, or I'm going to question myself and be like, oh, what's happening? Why do I feel like I'm losing my safety now that this person's in my life? What about them is threatening? And then, yeah, that's kind of like when you have to make a choice, like as a woman, if you're going to continue talking to this person, like what are the pros and the cons? And ultimately, like we said, like you said last night, okay, if you like somebody and they like you, time is the most like evidence of that someone's interested in you. Is they're giving you their time and their attention, their energy. And so it's like, if they're hanging out with you, if they're calling you, if they're texting you, they are interested in you. And how much time they give you too is very evident. So it's like, if you're constantly having to ask for this time, begging for attention, begging, the person does not like you. So people make it like so much more complicated than that. But it's like, okay, if when that happens, you just enjoy that moment and you honor the fact that that person is choosing you in that moment, and you just absorb it, enjoy it to the most of your capacity. And yeah, the best thing you could do is not get distracted by fearful thoughts, and not let your brain take you somewhere else. Because yeah, that's also like your brain being afraid of being hurt. It's fear, and it's like worst case scenario. And the thing is that you think that somehow by like questioning the person, you're going to get these questions and then everything's going to be okay. But it's really not. You're just going to get more questions. You're just going to get more fear, and it's going to be never ending. It's almost like the more you feed into it, the more you feed into it, the more it shows up. But the more you like ignore it and like just have awareness of it, but like deal with that on your own time at a separate time, the more you start to shut it down and you don't feed into it, you don't make it a part of your character, a part of your inner psychology, your inner language, and you don't let it damage that relationship. And I think that that's the problem that a lot of women have too, is that they're like very insecure and they just are so chaotic and dramatic in relationships and are constantly questioning and constantly want this other person to soothe their fears. And it's just too much to put on a person, and you're damaging like the dynamics of the relationship. You're damaging the romance. You just become annoying. You just become annoying. And that's when a guy starts to not like you and not respect you. But at the same time, if the guy's a piece of shit and he's a liar and he's not giving you no time, then yeah, that's a different story. You don't put yourself through torture and through drama, to try to silence your mind. Oh no, let me just ignore myself, when he's giving you clear signs that he doesn't even really like you like that.
Who is the ugliest motherfucker you ever been with, though?
I don't know,
Yeah,
but
the person you were being when you were being needy is the ugliest motherfucker you ever been with. Who you were being, for me, that's how I feel. I feel like when I was insecure and needy and being like, wondering where a bitch at or whatever, or trying to pop up on a bitch, or like, mentally even pop up on a bitch. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's when I was being that's the ugliest person I've ever been with. Me, when I was needy, and I feel like it pushed everything away. I feel like the less that I needed, especially when it comes to like company, I was just more like, you know, I could have, when people did come around, I don't know if I come off as abrasive or if I push people away, but it's like pretty clear. I'm gonna try to, I don't even, at this point, it's just completely conditioned in me to be like, look, I'm probably gonna make you feel like you're not needed, and and life will go on if you was not here, no matter what. And I feel like that made people want to stay and be around a lot more than when I was like needing them. Anytime anybody I needed someone, yo, they made me pay. They made me pay for that shit. You know what I mean? I feel like every single time in my life I was like ever on some needy, dependent shit. Even for friendships, they made me pay every time, and I just feel like I it was the weakest I ever been and the ugliest I ever been, and I don't know, man. Like I don't know how they. I feel like that's what keeps it safe or like secure is if you both don't need each other, you know what I mean? Or you both just really don't give a fuck if the other one walks out of their life. Like, I feel like the more that you try to squeeze it, the more it suffocates, and it's like it has no shelf life. I don't think it can last. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
so much of it, I just think people want to be distracted from themselves. It's like not even personal. Like they don't even be liking me. They just don't like themselves.
yeah, 1000%. That's hands down. That's a given. I was just talking about that today to this girl about that exact thing. But I think it's polarization, and I think that everything is like someone commented, needing nothing triggers magnetic force. So it's like if you don't need anything, you're gonna attract somebody that is gonna feed off that energy, and that basically like an anxious attachment style, probably that their parents or something feel needed, and they wanted their parents' attention, and um,
Are you on the mobile or the Wi-Fi?
I'm on the Wi-Fi.
Okay. Did you say anything or did you just pause?
No, I just paused real quick.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know, man. I was talking to somebody about it today too. Like they was like talking about just like family in general, you know, because like they were just saying like as we were talking about like how much family do we have, how much family do we know, and I was like, I really kind of only had family for like the first 13 years of my life, and it was only like I only knew one grandparent for the first 13 years, and so I knew her family, my grandmother's family. And then after that 13 years, I feel like it just became less and less family in my life. And I started off with very little family. So I feel like it made it to where I was like, I mean, I've been living without a family really this whole time. I'm not really concerned about creating one or finding one to merge with or losing people. Because I feel like I already started off at that spot. So it's like, how am I losing anything? I'm already at the spot. Like, and I think maybe that has something to do why it's even easier for me. I feel like I've been experiencing a life where if somebody comes and goes at this point, especially in my sobriety, I think when I was high and stuff, when I was getting high, I would really be like delusional. But like in sobriety, I'd be like, man, whatever, man. People going,
Are you
they're
there?
gonna come and go. They're gonna drop dead. You hear me?
Did you turn your video off? It's echoing really bad.
No, let me turn it off and on. Is it better now?
I can't see you on the screen. Can you see me?
Yeah, I see you.
I can't see you. What do you think it is?
I think we're still getting recorded, but we just can't see each other, which is very Yiddish.
The echo is really bad. Let's get out and start again.
All right.
Okay.